Welcome to Postgame and Damon exclusively on YouTube, and what do you know? Another game should consider itself managed by Brock Purdy, who is just watching as Sam Darnold comes in for mop-up time. It is a 45-22 lead for your San Francisco 49ers, if that's the way your rooting interests lie. And if you are here right now at this moment, I'm guessing that's maybe where your rooting interests lie. Welcome. Damon Bruce with you. It is great to be with you, and this has been a great day of football for the 49ers. The game is not over yet. The score could change, the yardage will change, but the outcome will not change. A 45-22 win for the 49ers. Again, we'll see where it all ends up. That might not be the final score, but this will be a win for the 49ers on a day where they are more than handling their business in Arizona. We're watching injury reports of Jalen Hurts saying that a sickness has him downgraded to doubtful for Monday Night Football. And as we currently speak, the Buffalo Bills are blowing the doors off the Dallas Cowboys. So a very interesting afternoon is still unfolding for football fans around the NFL, with a very consequential Monday Night Football game coming up on the horizon. It is, like I said, such an honor to have you here. Thank you for joining me today. If you are here, you are among the initiated. And by the way, it was asked for. I don't know what perks we're going to come up with, but folks, memberships has officially been turned on. And if you are looking to support this channel, if you're looking to support what we're doing over here and you consider yourself a pluser indeed, well, memberships are now officially open. So that's a great way to support the channel. But just by being here right now, by hitting like, by hitting subscribe, you're doing an awful lot to support this channel as it grows rapidly over just the last 3 or 4 weeks. There has been a seed change and a difference here, and it's because of you. It's because of you liking, subscribing, commenting, clicking, notifying, doing all the things that make that YouTube algorithm kiss me on the forehead, and I very much appreciate it. We're brought to you by Hughes Orthopedics. I hope you will appreciate what Dr. Paul Hughes can do for you if you are suffering from joint pain. If you are in the Bay Area and you have a problem with your knee, your elbow, your shoulder, this guy is working on joint replacement therapy that could avoid invasive, expensive, and incredibly difficult to recover from surgery. Go to orthopedicsurgeries.com if you'd like to avoid an orthopedic surgery. And I'm just going to continue to leave his information up on that crawl. A touchdown for Arizona has been scored here. Kyler Murray with a yoinks away to the corner of the end zone. Hughes comes down with the touchdown. So it is 45-28 49ers. There will be no attempt for a 2-point conversion. The Cardinals are just happy to just tack on one here for, sakes. It's not going to affect the outcome of this game. It's not going to affect the outcome of this game no matter how you bet on this game. If you got it around 14 and a half, which I think most people saw this go off today. So this is a day where the 49ers needed to go to Arizona and just simply handle their business. It's a day where those who want to remove Brock Purdy from an MVP conversation to make more room from Dak Prescott, well, they're being proven wrong by some afternoon action here in the NFL. And we are looking at a team of consequence. I mean, there's just no doubt in my mind. I don't think there's much doubt in your mind either that the 49ers are a team of consequence. Where does this go? Will they have the privilege of hosting an NFC championship game? There's still a lot more football. I keep on saying that every week because it's true. There's a lot more football, and I'll tell you what, today was just a little bit of a warning shot across the bow of overconfidence by some 49ers fans. While Christian McCaffrey was literally bending over at the waist to massage and feel how his knee was holding up after he got flipped over on a somersault tackle, the very next play you got Brock Purdy getting clocked in the head, shoulder area, the neck area, and he's in the blue tent for a couple of plays. And my friends, no matter how much fire you think you're cooking with, no matter how much talent you think you have, no matter how well your coach can take advantage of mismatches, you saw right there, how by an absolute thread, every single NFL team and its season hangs in a balance. And then just to put a point on it, you know, if you didn't get the message, in a blink of an eye, where in 2 plays, it felt like, geez, Christian McCaffrey might not be 100%, and all of a sudden Brock Purdy's in a blue tent. If that didn't put the scare of football God into you, maybe the fact that Randy Gregory is pushing over Paris Johnson Jr. Long after the play was over, it was just one of those get off me man shoves that knocked him over, and he falls in to the back left leg of Nick Bosa, and Bosa got gimpy there. It is this thin of a margin between you're healthy and can win a Super Bowl and, oh no, guess who got hurt? And then all of a sudden your chances of winning a Super Bowl go from this to this to this to this to oh my God, now you can't even really think about it anymore. It is victory formation. Sam Darnold, the human victory cigar, who again got some actual in-game reps. And look, Kyle Shanahan stayed a little aggressive, looking for Sam Darnold to throw when he came in for the briefly injured Brock Purdy right there. But Sam Darnold is a human victory cigar, and we got ourselves a final from Arizona. It is official. The 49ers, with their largest point total of the 2023 season to date, 45-29 over Arizona. And it is a 49er team that is now moving to 11-3 on the year. The Cardinals will fall to 3-11, and Brock Purdy finishes 16-25, 242 yards and 4 touchdowns for Brock Purdy when it's all said and done for him. He was, as usual, fantastic, as was Christian McCaffrey, who ends his season with 7 touchdowns, 7 of them, against the Arizona Cardinals. He had a 4-touchdown game early on in the year, and today, 2 receiving touchdowns and a rushing touchdown for Christian McCaffrey, 18 carries, 115 yards, and what you saw all day long from the 49ers. And look, they got down in this game. It was 7-0 Arizona before they had even touched the ball. So, you know, you are not opening the game in the typical fashion the 49ers like to open a game in, like right off the rip. What do you got? Instead of scoring on the opening drive, you're scored upon in the opening drive. But the Niners didn't even blink. They just come right down the field and bing, bang, boom, they're in the end zone. Now all of a sudden, we got ourselves a football game. And from that point on, it was an awful lot of 49ers. Look, you got to give some credit here to Arizona. Like, Arizona showed you an awful lot of offense early. Trey McBride, this guy had one of the best games any player in the NFL has had against the 49ers all season long. Before this, the 49ers could really even get any momentum going. You know, the Arizona Cardinals had run 20 play for 143 yards and 3 possessions. By the way, those 3 possessions, you had 2 scoring possessions sandwiched around the very first Charvarius Ward pick 6 of his career and the first defensive touchdown of the season for the 49ers. There have been 1 or 2 called back along the way. It felt like I was surprised to even hear that. Like, if you had asked me just real quick, Damon, without looking it up, have the 49ers scored a defensive touchdown this season? I would have been like, yeah, I think they have. But no, today was their first, as a matter of fact. But the Cardinals, look, they were moving the ball early, 7.2 yards per play early on in this game. Right after I made that note, the 49ers then took a 3-and-out on their very second possession of the game. So now Arizona's getting the ball back after getting turned over on their first 4th down try. They stayed aggressive, went for it on 4th and 1. They picked that up, and all of a sudden Arizona's offensive line and time of possession is starting to really tilt in their direction. And we knew that the 49ers came in defensive light today. When you don't have Eric Armstead, when you're not dressing Hargrave, you are coming in with less than a defensive line than you normally have. And even in this game, there was another injury which caused a shallow defensive line to get even a little shallower. But when it was all said and done, the 49ers stayed in this game, even though it was lopsided time of possession Arizona early on. It was still 14-13 49ers with about 6 minutes to play in the first half. And look, it's the start that Arizona would have taken if you had sold it to them like each and every time. It's the start that Arizona would have said, yeah, all things considered, looking at who they are, who we are, we'll take that. We'll take 14-3 with 6 minutes to play in the first half. Even though we've had the ball an awful long time, they would have taken that. Cardinals ran 30 plays before the 49ers had run a dozen of their own, but then the Niners do start running plays, and what do you get? Chunks and chunks and chunks and chunks and chunks and chunks of yardage. Chunks and hunks of yardage. Every single time you look up, it felt like it was a big play. I usually save it for much later in the show here, a little Postgame and Damon for you on YouTube. But you had plays in this game for the 49ers offense of 41 yards, 35 yards, 26 yards, 22 yards, 22 yards, 19 yards, 19 yards, 18 yards, 17 yards. I think there was another one for 18 yards in there. Now, anything that didn't start with a 1 is considered a chunk play. Anything that is above, well, no, truthfully, that's not even true, because any running play that goes north of 10 yards is considered a chunk play, an explosive play, and any passing play that goes north of 20 yards is considered that. And a lot of those teams that I'm telling you about are runs either made by Christian McCaffrey, or in one instance, we saw Jordan Mason take a 17-yard gain in one of his 5 carries today. 5 carries, 20 yards, with 17 of them coming on one play for Jordan Mason. An 11-play run for Debo the one time he ran with the ball. He had himself a 2-touchdown afternoon as well. 4 catches, 48 yards, 2 touchdowns for Debo Samuel. And it was just a day where the 49ers just worked. Who they are, what they want to be, what they want to do with the football was basically there for them all day long. The reason why they gave up over 200 rushing yards, which is the only, okay, there's something to complain about on our talk shows throughout the week. 30 carries for 234 yards for Arizona. Arizona has spent all season long running the football. It's what they are. It's who their signature is. But when it's all said and done, the 49ers still prevent a single runner from going over 100 yards. They haven't done that in seasons. And even though they gave up an awful lot of yards on the ground, it to me was all explainable, not just by this is what Arizona does, but by this is who isn't playing today. Without Eric Armstead, without Javon Hargrave, who is even more of a pass rusher than a defensive run stopper on the defensive tackle spot, he's still better than what they had to play with today. And we're eventually going to get to the what I do like and what I didn't like about this game, but that's later on before we really go through it all. I thought today was a bad Fred Warner game. I mean, a bad Fred Warner game to the tune where he still led the game in tackles. I mean, there's a sliding scale of that was a bad game for any other linebacker, and that was a bad Fred Warner game. Fred Warner had a couple of missed tackles. And today was a day where he didn't want to miss any tackles, I'm sure of it, because he knew how thin the front of that defensive front had become just due to availability. But when it was all said and done, everybody got their job done. Specifically, Brock Purdy, who just, again, is ramming the MVP conversation down the throats of people who did not want to have it. It's really incredible what he's doing. We got 600 people in the room right now. That is a great start to the show that we're not even 15 minutes into. Thank you for finding me. Thank you for being a part of this. When you jump into the chat, what I really hope is that you are going to be greeted by one of the coolest communities in all of sports right now. I really mean this. As someone who spent nearly 20 years on the radio talking to an audience, You really get to have a discussion with an audience here on YouTube. It's a legit community that gets built. And for the first time ever, beginning today, we are offering memberships. If you would like to really support this channel, and I know there's so many of you true hardcore plusers, that's what you call yourselves, I'm sure you'll be signing up for it. But I tell you, there's something for everyone to sign up for. Whether you're new here or not, it is great to have you here. And before you commit to any sort of monthly tithing to the channel, and there will be some perks, I promise you, along the way. Before there's any of that, if you just go ahead and click like and subscribe, that would be fantastic. It's a great way for us to begin a relationship, which I hope isn't a wham bam thank you ma'am, but a little something with a little bit more lasting love than that. We got a great group here. To join a membership, you have to be on a computer. You can't do it by mobile. Well, there you go. Hopefully everyone gets to a computer at one point in time, but I didn't even know that, Nick. You know more about this than I do. Again, we're just starting over here, kids, and it's really good to have you here. Jason, thank you so much. He said, this is the best 49er postgame there is. I thank you for that very, very much. Look, there's no time to rip on anybody, but Roy Boy says, we ain't winning shit with Sam Darnold. I'll agree with you. I mean, should it fall on Sam at some point in time, the entire equation of the season and what you hope to accomplish, it all changes. It all changes. Leslie, you're so right. Week 15, it is hard to stay healthy. It's hard out there. Hard out there. What you saw today with an injury it wasn't an injury that caused him to miss time in the game, but with an injury that is, he was feeling his knee out, and then you saw the fact that Brock Purdy hit the blue tent at one point in time today. That is how thin of a string all your NFL hopes and dreams live upon. There is no doubt. But the game manager was only able to manage 4 touchdowns today. You are right that. Thank you very much for the super chat. Keep up the good old work, Andrew. Thank you very much. We will try to do that, and obviously we don't want to miss any super chats. If they go by too quickly, I apologize 1,000 times over. And Chef A, Amy, I wasn't worried about this game, but when Brock and CMC and Bosa got dinged, you get a bit concerned. Yeah, you do. You can't help that because you see how, again, a big, strong football team is one of the biggest, strongest, nastiest thing on planet sports. But when you really look at it, it's also one of the most fragile things out there. One of the most fragile things out there. What Brock Purdy has been able to do this early in his career. Oh, by the way, I guess we should congratulate Brock Purdy and the 49ers on back-to-back NFC West championships. They won the NFC West today. That's official. No one's printing T-shirts for that. I don't think many people are going to go out and buy T-shirts for that. RIP Cougar Rebel can say, look, Arizona scored way too many points. Arizona's got Kyler back for his 5th week in a row. He is the quarterback of a bad football team that is 500 since he returned as its starting quarterback. He was 2-2 in his 4 games. Now they are, he's 2-3 in the 5 games that he's started. And I'm just telling you, as I tell you this all the time, RIP Cougar Rebel, there's no such thing as an easy day. There's no such thing as an easy-to-beat NFL team. If you don't believe me, ask the Atlanta Falcons, who lost to the Carolina Panthers today. The Atlanta Falcons are playing with we have playoff intentions about them, and they lose. By the way, another shocking loss today. Green Bay Packers losing at home as Baker Mayfield puts up a perfect passer rating. One of the great days of Baker Mayfield's often criticized career happened today at Lambeau Field. So just when you think that you've watched enough football to know how these games are going to break, they break in other directions. That's the beauty of this. That's the beauty of this. That's why this is the most consumed, most watched sport out there. We are addicted to football because it's the only thing that literally serves up anything at any time could happen. And everything hangs so fragile. So just look at where you were on Thursday and look at where the 49ers sit today. With a question about Jalen Hurts' availability, Darius Slay won't be playing for the Eagles on Monday Night Football up in Seattle. The Dallas Cowboys are getting shellacked right now. Let me open this up and see exactly where we are in that game. Is it 31-10? Is that a final now? Is the shellacking over? 31-10. I guess that's going to take a little bit of a bite out of Dak Prescott's MVP conversation, which was the immediate pivot point for those who did not want to talk about Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy answers that pivot point with 4 touchdown passes this afternoon. He was fantastic and just chunk play after chunk play after chunk play. Brock Purdy wasn't sacked this afternoon. Clean slate for the 49ers offensive line. And a 4-touchdown day with 242 yards after they scored the most amount of, or it put up the most amount of yards in a single game just a week before. They put up the most points of the season, and that, of course, got an assist from a Charvarius Ward interception return from a touchdown, and Ward ends the day with 2 picks. He's having a hell of a year, man. He is really something else. Like when I was looking at the pregame injury report, like you saw that pregame injury report today, and you said to yourself, "Well, what don't I like about this?" Obviously, Eric Armstead, Javon Hargrave are guys you want in there, so it hurts that they're not in there. And then I thought Oren Burks, very good player. Stinks that he's not going to go today, especially with you got to keep a spy on Murray. You got to have someone who can chase him down. He's just going to jitterbug his way to first downs when it looks like you got that play squashed. So I thought that hurt today. And Kalea Davis, by the way, went down in the first half. That's whose name I couldn't remember earlier. Kalea Davis went down with an ankle injury in this game, did not return. So you're down 3 defensive tackles. Just a heartbeat or 2 into this game. But the one name that was on, or I should say off the injured list, was Charvarius Ward. And I put an exclamation. As soon as I saw that Mooney Ward is playing, I wrote down an exclamation point, which, if I can read my own notes, usually means that's important. And it was important that he played. He had one of his best games of his life today, and the first time that he has returned an interception for a touchdown in the NFL. So, hell of a day for Ward when it comes down to it. Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Trent Williams. We didn't hear that much out of George Kittle this afternoon. He had a great day blocking, though. I mean, there was one play where McCaffrey took it around the left-hand side, and he had Kittle and Warner out there just splitting guys wide open for McCaffrey to run through. And that's, of course, they're following Trent Williams. It's just an awful lot of beefcake coming at you. Hell of a day. It was just, I don't care if you win by 1 point or as many points as you did win by. Just didn't matter. Just handle your business today. And you saw other teams who were in handle your business today mode weren't able to handle their business. Damn it. It says with Dak shit in the bed and Brock blowing past him in the MVP race. Look, I'll tell you right now, you can give the MVP to anybody in this league other than Brock Purdy. I don't care. And I don't think he cares either. This is not a season that's supposed to put a MVP trophy in Brock Purdy's hand. It's a season that's supposed to put a Lombardi trophy in the hand of everyone associated with the 49ers. That's the goal. That's the goal. But Brock Purdy keeps playing at an MVP level. Clearly, it feels like you get easier and closer to the goal. The guy's just a difference maker. Boomer T says Purdy equals difference maker. Cam is a clown. Look, Cam wants to try out this life of punditry. Look out, dude. People keep receipts. People keep coming back for you. Again, a man who wears such silly hats should used to have people laughing at him. I guess he's just not used to having it come at him so hard. But what we don't do is troll over here. That's not what this show's about. This show's not about clickbait. It's not about beating your chest after a win. It's reminding yourself that, oh my God, Brock Purdy could have gotten really hurt today, and there goes your whole damn year. If that Christian McCaffrey my knee doesn't feel it feels a little funky to something bad happens, that's your whole year probably. You're lucky. As much as the Niners are well built and this situation is well earned, what they also are is well more lucky than other football teams that have had very important consequential players go down with injuries. This is an endurance test as much as it is a test of will and skill and preparation and execution. This is an endurance test. The Niners continue to play and pass it today. Baron Red, thank you very much. Postgame and Damon, Plusers unite. Indeed, unite. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. My God, I would certainly appreciate more of you coming in. And I'm going to tell you, we're going to be hanging out on Christmas as well. Next up for the 49ers as the Bird Gauntlet continues. Won't be a full Bird Gauntlet. They don't have the Falcons on the schedule this season, but they've got the Ravens on Christmas, and we're going to invite you right back here when that game ends on Christmas. I have moved around family plans. The Duchess, who has flown in for Christmas, she's down with the program. We might all come and have some Christmas cookies with you during the damn show if it's a 49ers win and everybody's in a good mood. But it's going to be Christmas, so everyone's going to be in a good mood. But could it be a great mood? That's up to the 49ers, but that's a week from now. We're not going to get there. I'm sure we'll talk about it a little bit with Niners Wake Up with yours truly and Larry Krueger, which is going to be getting going at 8 a.m. Monday. Sweeping the Bay Area is the most preferred morning show out there. But thank you for preferring this one right here and right now. And again, please like and subscribe. It's great to have you here. It truly is. It was a shocker for a lot of people that the Cardinals came out and played so well so early, and but for the Kyler pick six to Mooney Ward, really controlled the football. I'm telling you right now, things that I liked in this game, I don't care who he plays for. Dude, Trey McBride. Hello. This guy had one of the best games anyone has had against the Niners all year. He was awesome. Absolutely awesome. So, McBride did everything he could to give the 49ers fits today. One hell of a player, finished with 10 catches and 102 yards. He was the go-to guy over and over and over and over again. And of course, the dryness in the back of the throat begins. It wouldn't quite be the holiday season unless the entire family were coming down with a little bit of a chest cold. It's just the way it is around here. Brent, don't think I've seen your name here before. Welcome indeed. Thank you very much. All the talking heads are going to have to revise their Dak leading the MVP field with Purdy somewhere behind him. Yeah, that's a talking point, which, look, for a moment there, I'm going to tell you right now, you know who's a really hard guy to beat in terms of popularity? The Dallas Cowboys quarterback, no matter who it is, when things are going well for Dallas. But the minute something goes wrong for Dallas, that's a very lonely place to be. Brock Purdy is the guy who is just... he's been so steady. And, during the 3-game losing streak, which feels like such a distant memory now, it's not even worth bringing up. But I would, for those of you, if you would really like to arm yourselves with an argument that Brock Purdy is indeed this league's MVP, go back and look at how well he played in the 3 losses in a row. Now, it doesn't really reflect in the statistics of the loss to Cleveland. He didn't play great, but he did drive them into game-winning field goal position. Moody missed it. Against both Cincinnati and Minnesota, Brock Purdy totaled more than 700 yards of offense. Now, he threw crucial interceptions. That we're not going to pretend those didn't happen. He never pretended those didn't happen. But a lot of people out there wanted to pretend that those interceptions were about to now define him and redefine the season that the 49ers were about to have. And nothing could have been further from the truth. Purdy walked through those interceptions into a bye week and has come out of it, and I don't think we've worried about him turning the ball over since. It's happened once or twice, but that has normally been, as much on the receiver's end of the turnover as an interception can get as it was on his end. The guy's solid, and so is Dale. We own the West. Dale, thank you very much. A little super chat from Dale. And I'm going to tell you right now, Dale, you got for each of your dollars back-to-back NFC West championships. That's what the Niners have done. Again, this team has done everything but win a Super Bowl since Kyle Shanahan has taken over. It really has. And for some of you, that is still like, a bridge that there will be no love for any coach until that bridge is crossed. And I get it. I really do. I understand that this is a starved for a championship fan base. It's been a very, very long time. People are sick and tired of hearing about the catch and Joe and Steve and all of that. Distant memories is what that feels like now. It feels like me as an Indiana basketball fan talking about looking at these 5 banners and there's not a single date on one of those banners that's in the 90s, much less the aughts or the 10s or the 20s. It's been years since the Hoosiers have won anything. And it's been that going back to the great 80s. Well, and then you got the one early in 90s, 94 with the Niners. So at least you got that. But that's even a long time ago now. I know you're starved for a championship. Some guy commented or shot me a tweet or something last week when he's like, I want this more than Shanahan. I'm telling you, you don't. You think you do. And that's great. It's great being a fan. It really is. Kyle Shanahan has been standing in the shadow of his father's coaching legend and trophy case his entire life since he decided, Daddy, I want to be a coach too. That is incredible pressure to be as close as he's been, to have assembled the team that is supposed to now, win it all, according to so many people who, just want to use some recency bias to come up with that. No one was really out there early on in this year. I didn't hear the 49ers were about to win a Super Bowl in a 3-game losing streak. This channel, this host, never really lost confidence, but just said some things need to change. And progress is not linear normally over the course of a team, nor an athlete's career. 2 steps forward, 3 more steps forward, 2 steps back, a couple more steps forward, a few more steps forward, 1 step back. That is how professional athletic development normally happens. Brock Purdy has basically been this. He's been a 45-degree angle of, holy shit, this guy is better than he's supposed to be at this point in time in his career since it started. Now, even though he's got this level of success about him, there are those who do want to tell you that what you're seeing is an illusion, is more just, data points and luck coming together than it is his own individual skill. And I'm going to tell you right now, even if you're right, who gives a shit? Who cares? In the ultimate team game, who might be this guy is the single best at his position than this guy and that guy and this guy and that guy. It's about team. 49ers got a hell of a football team. There's no taking that away from them. I don't care who wins what, other than a Lombardi trophy, because my God, they win one of those. There's no debating who the best team was that year. It's going to be tough for Skip Bayless and my good friend Nick Wright and a couple other people out there to walk back everything that they've told you may or may not happen with this team. Anyone still worried about those training camp interceptions on Brock Purdy? Did those training camp interceptions speak louder to you than today's 4-touchdown game? I mean, this is why you need an adult sometimes in the captain's chair. This is why you need somebody who's covered a few football teams, who's been through a few seasons, who's watched this team go to and lose Super Bowls, who has watched this team in its worst days imaginable, to appreciate what is good football and what is bad football. There are some people who have seen so much good football that the only way that they are trying to cover this team was through the prism of like, watch how spicy I can be about how, even though they're good, they're not good enough. They're good, but they're not good enough. And until they're perfect, I'm going to complain. There is no perfect. There is just no perfect available in this league, especially in week 15 when guys are hurt. So this could be a huge week of consequential football for the 49ers. They are right now the first team in the NFC to 11 wins. That's theirs. The Dallas Cowboys will not be joining them in 11 wins. Not this week, anyways. They've lost in Buffalo and got mollywopped in Buffalo. Will the Philadelphia Eagles get to 11 wins? Again, no Darius Slay. He's already been ruled out for Monday night in Seattle. And Jalen Hurts apparently doesn't feel great and has been downgraded to questionable. We'll see where that goes. Will it be Marcus Mariota? Isn't he their backup right now? So you cannot get more interesting or more excited or more everyone lean forward because here we go. I mean, the portion of the season that you had to get through to get to this point was really something else. It's been a hell of a ride, but the ride really starts now. I mean, it really starts now as you are rounding out how you play out the remainder of this regular season, trying to secure that 1 seed while at the same time trying to leave as much gas in everybody's tank as possible. And will you get the distinct honor? I'm telling you, I don't think it's the home field advantage that matters most in the NFC Championship game. It's having only to play one game before you get there. That's what matters most. To avoid a wild card round and start a playoff run in a divisional, like the bye week is more important than home field advantage to me. That bye week is what these teams are fighting for, more than they're even fighting for home field advantage. What a huge game the 49ers are going to have on Christmas against the Baltimore Ravens. Woo! I can already hear the whole world saying Super Bowl preview, Super Bowl preview. It could be, indeed, a Super Bowl preview. Thank you so much for being here this evening. It's great to have you. My name's Damon Bruce. This is The Plus, and memberships, kids, are available if that's something you might be interested in. Before you do that, though, a like or a subscribe would do an awful lot to help around here. And I'll tell you, and I want to thank my sponsor, Dr. Paul Hughes of Hughes Orthopedics down in San Mateo, who really is on the cutting edge of therapy that can help you avoid knee replacement, full, partial knee replacement, shoulder replacement. There's big joint replacement business out there that his therapy would stand in the way of if it were overly popularized. But he literally took a syringe, plunged it into my love handle, sucked out a bunch of fat cells, spun it around in the centrifuge, and injected it into my knee where I have full-on bone-on-bone arthritis. And that man made my knee feel 25 years younger. I got the Kobe Bryant German knees now. That's what I got. I got the German knees that Kobe went and got. And everyone was like, oh, is Kobe cheating? No, he just found a doctor who was doing what Dr. Paul Hughes is doing over here. You have all the information right now to contact Dr. Paul Hughes for a consultation on the crawl. If you're in the Bay Area, I highly suggest that you check out Dr. Paul Hughes. I will leave his contact information up and crawling. But let's hop right back into the chat. Let's Wrong Adam S. says, Nikki Wrong is a very pretty brunette. Let me say this. I know Nick well enough to where I'm hopefully going to get him on the show soon. And we will, of course, rake him over the coals about being wrong about Bay Area sports, as he always is. Remember, he was the guy who told you the Golden State Warriors weren't very good right in the middle of all their championships. So we're going to have to correct Nick on a couple of things, but we're also going to ask him, like, what is the end game with that hair? Where is that going? Like every hair plan kind of has a plan. What's his plan with that mop? I think we deserve answers. Freddie Jr. says, Damon, what's up? Sorry I've been missing. Been in North Dakota working. I'm flying home on Christmas Day. You're growing, baby. 49ers, Brock Purdy, it's the real deal. Freddie, thank you for the support. I'm just going to tell you right now that the beauty of YouTube is that attendance is not mandatory. It's preferred, obviously, but it's not mandatory, and you fit this show into your life wherever it's most convenient, wherever it works best for you. And that's what's freaking awesome about this medium. As a guy who spent all those years on the radio, what's so cool is that now you can listen to the show whenever you damn well please, whenever it's most convenient for you. And oh, by the way, you can download the podcast. Damon Bruce Plus is not just a YouTube channel. It's a podcast as well that is available wherever you get your podcasts. Not even 20 minutes after we wrap up here, this show will be available in podcast form. So here we are creating our own multimedia freaking digital company, and we're probably just going to keep on going right over here because this is so much better than radio. It allows us to build a community, a real connection with each other. And beyond that, it allows you to take this show wherever you want. Listen whenever you want it. Dan Sereno says, show some love. Hit that like. Well, thank you very much, Dan. I appreciate that. Hopefully you can convince the people. He also wants to know, what's a Cam Newton? It's like a Fig Newton, but it won an MVP and wears funny hats. All right. Couple super chats coming in. The Ringer Steven Ruiz is in shambles after Purdy's last 2 check down touchdowns. Let's end Bird season strong next week. No doubt about that, Eric, and thank you very, very much. Thanks to Brian as well, super chatting for 10 bones, saying unreal hearing that crowd in Arizona cheer Brock coming back from the injury. My head is down. I was making a note, and I heard the same thing you did. Right over that broadcast, I'm like, oh, it must be Brock coming back in, because I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care where the 49ers play, it's a home game for them. Seriously. 49er fans have done more to take over NFL stadiums than any fan base has in this league this year. Niners fans got into Philadelphia against the Eagles at the Link in a fashion that I didn't even think was possible in Philadelphia. But it happened. Now, today, the red didn't stand out nearly as much because the home team wears red too, but the volume, go back and listen with the audio up to Chavarius Ward's pick 6. You would have thought you were at Candlestick, much less Levi Stadium. Like, it got loud in Arizona. So the Niners have a home game pretty much no matter where they're playing. So, Brian, thank you very much. I heard the same thing that you did. I appreciate that super chat. Just in time for Christmas. We got stockings to stuff for the boys, so thanks very much. Leslie, again, Christmas, cookies and eggnog. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to tell you right now, I am worried about how much fatter I'm about to be a week from now. The Duchess is upstairs getting her fastball ready for these cookies. I can feel her warming up in the bullpen right now. For those of you new here, the Duchess is my mom. Mike Guernsey says, Damon, I just found your channel. I subbed less than a minute in. Well, Mike, if only everyone were more like you. Thank you, Mike. I do appreciate it very, very much. Michelle Haberman. I mean, one of the first ladies of the Plus, if there ever was one. A hardcore, true blue Pluser, if there ever was one. Says, Mooney Ward gives me Deshaun Goldson vibes. Speedy, hungry, ball hawk, fucking ball hawk. I love it. He's having a monster year. I mean, really, as big of it, there will be 3 guys who really qualify as 49ers Defensive Player of the Year. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be the league's Defensive Player of the Year, but the Niners Defensive Player of the Year, Look, you could just pencil in Nick Bosa's name automatically to that. Fred Warner is probably the right choice. Charvarius Ward could steal it from both of those guys. He could take it from both of them. He really could. Bang, bang, Niner gang. Yeah, bang, bang for 45 points. It's the most that they've scored all year. Update on Bosa. I don't have one for you, BJ. I am without a producer here. The only thing I can do is read to you whatever happens to pop up on this TV up there. But I don't have any Bosa update for you. If you're a true 49er fan, go ahead and hit that like. Thank you very much, Dan, jumping in for Super Chats. I appreciate that. And this is something Drew says, I love having Plusher memberships, supporting the product that is important to me. I can't believe how many people have asked for it. And that's just, the generous nature of so many of you that you've asked for it. Damon, we want memberships. And I don't have like free T-shirts to give away. I guess I could mail you a sticker, shoot me your address and I'll mail you some stickers. A lot of you have already been to our meetups and probably even have these stickers, but people are still like, look, we don't even want anything from it. It's not about exclusive content. It's about supporting the channel. And I mean, seriously, that makes me want to cry almost. Thank you so very, very much for being generous, for wanting something and supporting something that is independent. And, I'm now using this as the means to support my family. So thank you very much. Wanting to support the channel is basically like saying, Damon, we want to support you. So I really, really appreciate that. And I do think that what we do here kind of stands out like a sore thumb in 2023, where, the people who get the most attention take the most extreme positions. I don't take the most extreme positions. I leave that for people looking for attention. What I want to do is I want to get it right. I want to get it correct. I want to accurately reflect what the hell it is we're looking at, because that is the least served sports fan in America right now. There might be more. It might be easier to corral overexcitement. It might be, there's no might about it. It's a lot easier to corral fan venom and anger. I'm looking right in the middle of that. If this is venom, if this is overexcitement, I want my show to be right here. And I don't mean in the middle of the road, not taking any hard positions or anything like that. But just we've been here before. This is not our first rodeo. We're not going to start clapping the minute somebody falls off of a bull. We've been to the rodeo before. We know how this works. We know how long it takes to even get to the Super Bowl. For people, they start this before week 1. We're at halftime. Yeah, do you think they're going to go to the Super Bowl? What the fuck are you talking about? It's halftime of week 1. We got a long way to go. There are people who just want to talk about everything in terms of the most extreme position available. That's not how any of this should work. And I do believe that the intelligent, actually been around the block more than once sports fan out there is the worst served sporting consumer in America. So hopefully we've got a product that appeals to you. Hopefully I've got a show that's going to appeal to you. And again, before you even think of coming in with a membership or a super chat, I'm just going to ask you to hit the like button. That's easy. It's free. Sporticus, again, who's been around here since days of radio. Trey McBride and Matt Laporta are two young stud tight ends to watch going forward. There's no doubt. Especially Trey McBride. I mean, there's not anything about him that I don't really like. Trey McBride had himself just a nasty game today. He's hunting footballs. And Kyler Murray trusts the hell out of him. You can see that. Again, Michelle, she's been to more than one game in her life. She understands how division games work. Yeah, I know how bad the Arizona Cardinals are. Do you ever notice that no matter how bad the Arizona Cardinals are, they always give the Niners more than they want? That's what they got. The Arizona Cardinals gave the Niners a little bit more than they wanted today, but even giving them all of that, it still wasn't enough. Barry Ford says, Barry, checking in from Memphis. Look at it this way, Barry. I have never once done a post-game show on a San Francisco radio station that reached Memphis. So that's why I like being here. That's why I love being on YouTube. And that's ultimately why I'm not worried about the future at all anymore. This is going to happen. If we're sitting here with this size of an audience, not even a season into doing this, what's 5 seasons into doing this going to look like for us? You know, what did some people say about Brock Purdy at the very beginning? Like, I don't think he can get any better. I hope you didn't say that about me with YouTube, because I don't even know what the hell it is I'm doing here yet. And I think we're doing an okay job. Now, here's a question or a statement that is even offered up with an apology because he thinks it controversial, saying, sorry, Christian McCaffrey for MVP. Obey Banksy? Okay. I'm good with that too. I'd be totally good with that, and I guarantee you that Brock Purdy would be good with that, and if Brock Purdy ends up winning it, Christian McCaffrey is going to be good with that. We do know, we have seen an overwhelming amount of evidence that the MVP award is basically a best quarterback award. We now know that, right? We see that. How about giving Brock Purdy the MVP and Christian McCaffrey Offensive Player of the Year? Because that's where I think we're going. That's what I think is going to happen. Like if I had to go ahead and bet on it right now, that's the way I would bet on it to go down. We got here Frank P. Damon, thank goodness your show is on, saving us from watching Rod fumbling around and pretending. Look, here's the deal. You don't need to cut anybody's legs out from underneath them to make me look taller. I know Rod. I worked with him for years. I'm glad that he's back on TV. There's no one I ever want to see out of work, but it's great to have you here, and thank you very much. Days. Damon, did you see the stat on the Niners have been first in the NFL the last 4 seasons in yak yard? It's insane. I think it was the last 6 seasons. I think they've been first in yak since Kyle took over. So, I mean, it's been even longer than that. It's incredible. It really is. Kyle has designed an offense that does what it wants to do more often than it fails to accomplish its goals. Again, that was not a sexy, scintillating sentence, but it's the truth. You know, that's never going to be a t-shirt available at the gift store. This offense accomplishes its goals more than it fails to accomplish its goals, but that's what coaching is. That's what it is. I got a plan. Here's my plan. It isn't always going to work. How often does it work? A lot more often than not? Okay, well, I guess I'm pretty good at what it is I do. And it is what Kyle Shanahan does. He is pretty good at what he do. And you can also just see Christian McCaffrey look at a linebacker and just think to himself, oh, hot supper. I mean, every single time Christian McCaffrey is on a linebacker, it's a touchdown or it's a 30-yard gain if it's a completed pass. It feels that way. Again, today, the 49ers were able to find an offensive rhythm, even though they didn't have very much chance to get in rhythm. Huge play after huge play after huge play. Plays a 41, 35, 26, 22, another 22-yard play, 19 yards, 19 yards, 18 yards, another 18-yarder, a 17-yarder, and those do qualify for chunk plays when they come on the ground. Any running play over 10 yards is an explosive play. Any passing play over 20 yards is an explosive passing play. The Niners have explosive plays all over their football season since this bye week. Since the bye week, the 49ers have been a different football team. And you can say it's Chase Young on the defensive line. I mean, it all goes into the gumbo. It's all part of the reason why they're doing this now. Aaron Banks getting healthy again. Trent Williams being healthy. I thought that the one cool stat today that I saw on a graphics package that basically healthy Brock, healthy Debo, healthy Christian McCaffrey means Niners don't lose. You know, they're 17-0, I think was the graphic when all three of those guys start and finish a game together. This is from S. You got to trust the letter S. There's only 26 letters. So when one of 26 speaks, you listen. And S says, thank you, Damon, for telling it like it is. Look forward to your shows every week. Well, not only do we do a show that starts at the 2-minute warning, but we also, every single day, Monday through Friday, go live at 11 West Coast time. That show is available, obviously, whenever you need it afterwards, but we're live at 11 Monday through Friday. We'll do a little breaking up of that during Christmas week. I got kids. We got some Christmas break to take. And on Christmas itself, I'm going to be right back here with you at the 2-minute warning of the 49ers and Ravens game. So we'll all be spending a little Christmas together, I hope. And look, all I'm going to tell you right now is, you know, I'm blessed to have, you know, my wife and my kids and my mother in town and my in-laws. We're going to have ourselves a lovely little Christmas. There are many, many people who do not have that available to them. And I could never take the place of your family or anything like that. But we do have our goofy little island of misfit toys over here. And if you plan on a Christmas where you might not be surrounded by friends and family, if you've got YouTube, consider yourself surrounded by friends and family and be here on Christmas, and we're going to spend it together, and we'll have some milk and cookies, a little pumpkin pie, some leftovers at that point in the night, I think. So we're going to have ourselves a nice little get-together for the holidays. So that's all coming up. Couple of notes about special teams today. Again, not everything can be, I liked every single moment of that game. We've been talking about what went right here basically since we started, and why not. A lot went right for the Niners today. Prater, first of all, hit a 58-yarder. That's a big boy field goal. I don't care whether you're indoors on a sunny day or not. A 58-yard field goal is not routine, so he drilled that to keep Arizona in striking distance early. But Ronnie Bell, that near fumble on the punt return, and look, I also like Charles Davis, but God, as a color commentator, he could not have fucked that up more. I mean, you're watching the guy's forearm cause the fumble. He's clearly down. He was touched before he fell on his forearm. I don't care when that ball came loose or if he thought that, well, no other part of his body is down. It's only his forearm. Yeah, a forearm is a knee, is an elbow, is your down. And Ronnie Bell did nothing to make people who don't believe in him more, okay? And, you know, Ray McLeod, who has not done really anything on special teams for this team either, at least get Ray back. Ray had a little fumbleitis right before he got hurt this year, though, too. 49ers special teams, kick return, punt return. Why is it a constant adventure? I really don't know why. I don't like it. And that's really all I walk out of this game not liking. That the Ronnie Bell special teams adventures continue. He also had a dropped pass on 3rd and 7 in the third quarter. He was doing a lot of toe tapping, though. It wouldn't have been an easy catch. Days says, you know, I'm glad that Moody got his jitters out of the season, too. A little bit earlier. Yeah, look, I'm going to tell you right now that I'm not worried about Jake Moody. I'm not. Same way I'm not worried about Moses Moody, if you want to sneak a little Warriors commentary in there. I'm not worried. Oh, my God. A guy named Dan Lynn is doing a 49ers shot from an empty bar. Who the hell set that up, KPIX? God, local TV, local radio. It's just all so bad. It's so bad. By the way, thank you, Danny. It was great attending the game. The faithful took over. Yeah, Danny's from Arizona, so he was there today. Damon, home field is what you want. Let me put it this way. Swig 13, let me offer you this. It's fictitious. It can't actually happen, but let me offer this to you. You get a bye week and then have to play twice on the road, or you got to play 3 home games. I think every team in football would take the bye week and 2 road games more than they'd take 1 more game. I really do. And especially to a team like the Niners, who have been there and done that. Everything up to the point of all but a Super Bowl. I don't think the Niners give a shit where any of their games are anymore. They just want to go into them healthy. And if the Niners go into a football game healthy, they can win that football game. Doesn't guarantee anything. There are no guarantees in this league. Damon, sipping on that Hennessy. Dan, I'm not sipping on the Hennessy, but I do have a little bottle of whiskey right here. And you know what? We'll crack it open for the win today. Why not? My friends at Blackened Whiskey. We're part of the original sponsors here on the show, and even though they don't have a sponsorship going right now, we still got love for Blackened because it's frickin' delicious. Here we go. Shots up. Woo-hoo. Woo-hoo. Yeah. So there you go. You score a season high in points, you get a bottle pull. I mean, that's the least I can do, right? My man Hughes Orthopedics. Oh, I got to figure out which way to point. My man Hughes Orthopedics, Dr. Paul, he'll tell you to take a bottle pull. It's good for you. What's not good for you is shoulder or joint replacement surgery. That's why he has perfected a new way to take care of and alleviate pain. That's a non-invasive, non-surgical option. Get to Dr. Paul Hughes if you don't believe me. If you've got bad pain, if you've got arthritis, if you've got a doctor or a surgeon telling you, hey, by the way, you know what you need? You need a partial or full joint replacement. Go talk to Dr. Paul Hughes before you make that decision. He made my knee 20 years younger than it really is. I used to have trouble getting down on my hands and knees to play with my kids. Not anymore. Seriously. I mean, he fixed my knee with his cell replacement surgery. It's not even a surgery. It's an injection. Find out for yourself. All the information you need to contact Dr. Paul Hughes is on the bottom crawl right there, right now. 650-242-5633. His email is info@orthopedicsurgeries.com. Again, a website name that I think he needs to work on, because if you want to avoid an orthopedic surgery, I'm telling you to go to orthopedicsurgeries.com. He could have exactly what you need. He certainly had what I need. Speaking of Kobe knees, R.I.P. Mambo. I think you meant Mamba, but thank you, Andre. MV Purdy. How do you keep him out of that now? How do you keep him out of that conversation? Hey, maybe he doesn't win it, but people didn't even want him in the conversation. This guy has elbowed his way into the conversation the way that Charles Barkley used to elbow his way into rebounds. He's just up there throwing bows, looking for elbows. Brock Purdy is here now. And he's got to be in the pole position. Got to be in the pole position. SM. Hit that like button. Yeah, it's good. It's good for the channel. Again, I don't know much about the algorithm, but I know that it's been kissing me on the forehead lately. Some of the shorts that we've put up have really exploded. My first video to go over like 60,000 views was a short about Dre Greenlaw. Dude, Dom the security guard and KNBR's firings were like the greatest things that ever happened for this channel. Seriously. I don't know how any of this works, but that's the day that the audience started growing rapidly. And it continues to grow. So please hit like, please hit subscribe. And again, for the first time, memberships are available. $5.99 a month. What do you get? We're going to have to figure it out along the way. I'm going to be completely honest with you. That's the only thing I ever promised to be with you, is completely honest. What does memberships get for you? I don't know what it gets for you as much as it gives you an opportunity to support what you're seeing here if you like what you're seeing here. A lot of people have asked for ways to support the channel. So there you go. Get yourself a membership, $5.99 a month. I mean, that's less than $1.50 a week for the best damn sports show in the world, if you don't mind me saying. At least that's what my mom said. So, Leslie, talking about next week. She's like, hey, as long as this Super Bowl preview doesn't end like it did when you met the Ravens in the Super Bowl last. Yeah, I was there in the New Orleans Superdome. And that you don't want to do that again. Good question. Damon, what is the plus? What is a plus? So, this is so stupid. The name of the channel, I thought of calling it Damon Bruce Sports. Then I thought, well, there's going to be times where I'm going to want to talk about things other than sports. You know, I'm going to want to get into music or something, or just it's going to be something different. So I'm going to do like Paramount Plus, Disney Plus. We're going to call it Damon Bruce Plus. But plus doesn't rhyme with Bruce the same way that plus does. And that's how we got here, Me TV. Plus is the word plus, rhymed with Bruce. I insist upon that there's nothing extraordinary happening here. It's just our goofy ideas coming together in one place. So people who supported the show and were here from the get-go started calling themselves plusers. And there it is. Don't ask me to explain egg mints to you. I still don't know where that came from. But we got inside jokes that you'd think I'd even be inside of that are so inside of this goofy community that that's the way it goes. DeWitt Construction. Killing it, D. So happy for you. Well, thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. And by the way, the Niners have officially reached
Maximum Football!
This is Maximum Football. AM, PM. Damon, does this game help solidify number 13's Purdy's place among the top 10 NFL quarterbacks? Look, he was in the top 10 conversation after the win over Jacksonville and beating Trevor Lawrence, right? I mean, how many number one overall picks would you like the last pick in the draft to beat before you admit he's as good as any of them? He really is. He's as good as any quarterback playing in football, if not statistically better than all of them. I mean, the difference between a guy like Brock Purdy and Patrick Mahomes, other than arm angles, Taylor Swift, and Super Bowl championships, well, it's the arm angles, Taylor Swift, and the Super Bowl championships. But if you're looking for a guy who has translatable, I protect a football, I make good choices, I get through my progressions, and I make the right decisions, and I don't make stupid mistakes, and this would help any team that you put me on, yeah, Brock Purdy's that guy. He is absolutely that guy. Roddy Richards says, have you ever fully recovered from Indiana blowing a double-digit lead home to Kansas? No, that really hurt. Thank you for asking. Blocked. No, I'm just kidding. What even hurt more than that is Indiana not only could have beaten the number 2 team in the country, but then Purdue went out and beat the number 1 team in the country, the other number 1 team, because Purdue's already been there. Yeah, that hurt. That hurt. Oh, here's something everyone needs to know, and I don't care where you're listening today. What you really need to know is that Smiley Dan is safe. He's safe. By the way, I'm going to be very, very safe tonight. JJ Rader's ganja jar is still overflowing. But Smiley Dan, Niners win. He goes outside, and he gets really, really safe. He smokes a lot of safety, and he's so safe right now. I'm so happy that he's safe. I'm very happy he's safe tonight. You know who's not safe? All these hot take artists. They're not safe at all. Brock Purdy keeps coming for all of them. Paul says, Damon, embrace that fat. The cookies, the cheese board, the meats. Yes. No, I'm going to, if you follow me, not that you really need to do this, not that we're thin in any capacity right now that the word thin actually functions under, but look at me now, take a mental snapshot, then be back here Christmas at the 2-minute warning, and you will see an even puffier Damon. Let's be completely honest. I'm going to get puffier. That's what carbo loading will do. And then I'm going to get my shit together. Like everyone else, I'm going to make that New Year's resolution. We're going to drop 25. And I'll drop 15, and then I'll think about getting lazy or cheating, but this time I won't. I'm going to keep on going. Now that I am in front of a camera every day, again, all I ever wanted to be was a radio guy. When you were a radio guy, look at it this way. There was never a point on the radio where I didn't sound thin and ripped. Now you see me and it all gives it away. All right, what else we got going here? What else we got going today? Andre Thompson says, almost as good as Raider Nation. It was good to see them get to 63 points, stomping out their system, stomping out of a system. I don't know about any system that the Raiders have, but for a team that got shut out the week before at home, 63 the following week was obviously a very welcome house guest. So congratulations to the Raiders on their 63-point Super Bowl. Pittsburgh High School Pirates baseball. Says this team is as fun as the 94 49ers. They seem to be as hard to stop. They seem to be as balanced. You know, they seem to be as good defensively as they are offense. And that's the thing. Who is going to be the star of this game today? Is it going to be the offense or the defense? Not a lot of teams get to legitimately ask itself that question every single week. But the Niners got two units that can qualify for both. Who could be the star today? It could be this offense or this defense in any game. You can see it. Damon, hope Paulie Mack and you can do something together at least a few times. Well, thank you very much. Is that Jerem? Paulie's supposed to come on after the new year. He had some lawyering, settling contracts to make sure that they're taking care of him on his way out. But we had FP Santangelo, former used to be sports phone host, on this last week, and it was great. It was great having FP in. And I know that this is an awful lot of inside Bay Area sports radio. If you're not from the Bay Area, you don't maybe even know who these names are. If you're a baseball fan, you should know the name FP Santangelo. But, yeah, basically my show has become the exit interview for anyone in radio when they lose their jobs. I'm going to reach out to them and have them over here and tell them, like, all you need to do is get going on YouTube, and it's a lot better, actually. I mean, radio, how about this? Radio isn't even a dying medium. Like, that shit's dead. And it kills me to say it. I loved radio more than anybody. Absolutely anybody. '49ers system team. Take them all away. You got nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good system. It really is. And it is a little bit of a system. But that's okay. Because the whole point of being in the NFL is you hire the right coach who gets the right players, who installs a system that makes these players even better than they would be without the system. Like, basically, people continue to argue that the sun shouldn't rise that way. The sun shouldn't set that way. No, when things are going right, that's the way it goes. Couldn't help but notice Sam Darnold went in there for a few throws today. The system didn't run quite as well as the system manager, so maybe you do need to be a system manager, and Darnold's not quite that. It's just, it's nuts. It's nuts. What I think is going on in sports media more than anything else is that people tell on themselves that all they've got are applicable to whatever cause celeb moment. Like it's not even a conversation about Brock Purdy. It's a conversation that is available about whoever would have been I don't think he should really be the MVP of that year. And they're much more prepared to have that same conversation where the only thing that really changes is the name in the conversation, but the conversation doesn't change because if you just talk about that, you can avoid talking about the actual game and what's going on. Like one of my whole points of media and why it drives me nuts and why I find myself consuming less of established media is because if they would just cover everything under the merits in which it's actually happening, like that to me is fascinating right there. Like there's so much fascinating going on around the San Francisco 49ers. You don't need to make a whole bunch of shit up to make them more interesting. But for some people, that's the only way they really need to know how to talk about football. I got to go to all the hypothetical things because if it came to actually watching a game, interpreting what just happened and applying it, proactively or retroactively or whatever to try to explain something, there's a lot of people who watch football and still have no idea what they just saw. But it's easy to say, Kyle Shanahan stinks because he hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. What? Brock Purdy and the Niners, they didn't win the NFC title game, so that means they weren't in the Super Bowl. Oh, thanks. Thank you very much. It's usually how that works. Anything else? Or is that all you're bringing to the table today? For a lot of people, that's all they bring to the table. Like I said, Brock Purdy, the game manager, managed a 16-25 afternoon for 242 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was not sacked once. He managed things pretty well. Hell of a day for management, if you don't mind me saying. It's nuts. All right. I got to get, dude, this chat is just flying. Damon, you're reaching further than Memphis. I'm in Batesville, Mississippi. Is MS is Mississippi, right? Chattanooga. Thank you, Paul. Thank you for being here. Look out, Chattanooga. Michael Kennedy checking in from Omaha, Nebraska. Thank you, Michael. I'm so sorry that the Cornhuskers joined the Big Ten and basically turned into Rutgers with better uniforms. Checking in from Coldwater, Michigan. I love doing this. I love to know where you're listening from. I used to do a segment on KNBR. Let's check the power of the tower. I used to mail a Giants pocket schedule to the person who was listening furthest away. Remember that? By the way, if you're old enough to remember what a pocket schedule was, hit that like button on that alone. Right? If you remember what a pocket schedule was, hit that like button, and at that point you should want to subscribe. Who else in the fucking media world is talking about pocket sports schedules? No one. That's my guy, right? I would hope I qualify at that point. Efren Williams says, your self-absorbed, self-promoting rants are jarring. Well, I'm going to jar the shit out of you, Efren. You're going to be jarred every time you watch this show. Number 2, if I'm not self-promoting, who is? Do I have a promotions department? If I don't promote this, no one's promoting this. And when it comes to laying off the F-bombs, Efren, you got an F in your name. You should be pro F-bombs. But I'm going to tell you, after not swearing for nearly 20 years on the radio, I'm going to do whatever the fuck it is I please over here. And you can stick around and enjoy it or don't. That's the beauty of choice. And I'll also let you off with this, Efren. And this should be on a t-shirt that I mail to you. Because you don't get it. You have no right to an unoffended life. 0. You have no right to an unoffended life. You clicked on to my page. If you don't like what's going on my page, click it off. Don't tell me how to do my page better. You're not better at this than I am. I fucking know that for sure, Efren. What else we got here? Holly Turner says, Cam Newton game managed to lose a Super Bowl. Yes, he did. Can't help but notice that. Holly also comes back from the top rope saying the Seahawks are going to beat the Eagles on Monday night. Look, it could happen. It could absolutely happen. And if it does happen, oh my goodness. Look at the situation that the 49ers would find themselves in at that point in time. Moon Man, I'm smoking a blunt. See, this is why we get along, Moon Man. Thank you very much. What's the Christmas spread going to be? I don't know what anyone else is bringing to the party, and I really don't care because I'm doing a prime rib. I got laid off this year. Jillian and I have been pinching pennies and being very, very careful with our money, and we did that all the way up to this point in time, so I can still go ahead and I can do a really nice Christmas dinner for my family. So we're going prime rib. Thank you for asking. Days says, why do haters put so many prerequisites on Purdy for being great? Just watch the game. He wouldn't be putting on those numbers if he didn't have two arms there. Yeah, look, I'm going to tell you the reason why people keep on putting all these qualifiers on is because, number one, they know that they're probably wrong, so they're just going to try to leave themselves a little wiggle room out of it. And I am totally convinced that people don't watch this game. People who talk about this game, people who cover this game, people who claim to cover this game don't really watch. They got producers handing them talking points more often than not before these shows starts. Did you see it? No. What should I say? I know that conversation happens. Excuse me, a little cough, little dry throat going on. All right. The announcer commented bang, bang about the Cardinals. Well, they did have a couple bang, bang moments in that game, but no, Niner gang should be able to get over that. There's the shot. Oh, there we go. Never Daunted Radio Network excited about that. Yeah, let me tell you, there was a shot after the loss to Kansas, too. Shots. There you go. Ninja, you're right about that. Best part of working for yourself, just drinking right on the job. By the way, speaking of Dr. Paul Hughes, Baron Red, who I've met at Plusmania 1 and 2. He arrived at both. He said he's done Dr. Paul Hughes. Dr. Paul Hughes gave him the same treatment, got him through a better feeling life with no surgery. So there you go. Don't just take my word for it. Dr. Paul Hughes. Check it out. He'll make you feel better. Chardonnay Dog, Damon, how was Larry's feast at Pig and the Pickle? Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it up there today. Jillian needed the car. It was the weekend before Christmas gets here. She commandeered that thing like a cop in a bad action movie. She's like, I'm taking the car today. I said, all right. And I guess I can't go up and hang out with Larry. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to hang out with Larry at 8 a.m. Niners Wake Up. We'll see you there. Right here we simulcast it on my page, on his page, and you put both of our pages together. We got a bigger audience than both 95.7 The Game and KNBR combined. That's why the 49ers said, don't call it 49ers Wake Up anymore, because we have a bigger audience than their flagship station does. Days says, I'm not scared of the Ravens without Mark Andrews, but they're still dangerous. John Harbaugh is somehow still sneakily underrated. He is. I'll tell you, we got a very interesting Sunday night game. Baltimore and Jacksonville. Jacksonville basically playing for its credibility as a real playoff contender. And Baltimore is looking for win number 11. So that's a big one. When was this? This was about 20 minutes ago. I'm 20 minutes behind here in the chat, saying that KNBR's postgame show's got 31 viewers. We have more than that. Yes, we do have more than that. Carl Kelsick, who used to work at The Leader, says, seems like your show took off the day that KNBR died. Maybe we should drive the Chevy to the levee. Absolutely. American, eat my pie. Let's see. Yes, Mike Antics, you are right. A membership will get you a lifetime supply of Egg Mints, and memberships are now available to you. Let me see. I think I got it up here. I can see if has anyone clicked a membership yet? Has anyone jumped in? Let's see. I don't think so. Or maybe it's not returned day of instantly. Or maybe it is. We'll find out who gets it. Let's see. Jason Coelho. This guy is garbage. Hit that like button, Jason. Excessive 03 says, Damon, Moody is the only unknown on the team, mostly because they keep scoring touchdowns, and he's only kicking points after. You know, sure, but I'm good with it. Like, to me, those point after touchdowns are not just gimmies anymore, and they're all pretty tried and true. Like, he's got a big leg. I think he's going to be a very good kicker. You know, he missed a couple kicks in his rookie year. That's going to happen in a rookie year. Good question by Days. Says, John Harbaugh is a former special teams coach. Do you think that next week we'll have an advantage in that respect? Yes. I think that the Ravens are coming in with a better special teams unit that just won a game in overtime due to a punt return. John Harbaugh and the Ravens have no special teams problems, especially with Justin Turner as their kicker. The only element of special teams that I totally trust when it comes to the Niners is Wisnowski, who's about as good of a punter as you're going to find. The punting unit for the 49ers is their best unit on their special teams. I would say that the field goal unit would be the second best unit. And then after that, fighting for third and fourth place is kick return and punt return. Kick return and punt return are a freaking challenge on this team. And I don't know why, because they got guys who can catch the ball and run real hard, real fast. But a big special teams play just continues to elude this team, and special teams mistakes continue to, even when they're not actually haunting the team, at least rear their head and scare you a little. You see it all the time. Thank you very much, Days. Again, thank you, Excessive, for the super chat. Really appreciate that. Paul Third says, here's a super chat, Damon. Brock Purdy is Mr. Make Your Team Irrelevant. It's not bad. That's not bad. The carbs will set you free. Free of constricting pants, that's for sure. We're going to upgrade that. All right. FP was good with you on Friday. He got comfortable. Yeah, I think we had him on Thursday, maybe. FP's been a broadcaster at the major league level for more than 11 years. He did 11 years with the Nationals before he came back to the Bay. He's very comfortable. And plus, we've known each other for a very, very long time, so I would hope so. Lewis says Darnold puts too much juice on those throws. He does. And I want to bring it back to something that Steve Young has talked about for years. Forget about arm strength. Forget about physical prowess, size, or anything when it comes to a quarterback. Ask yourself this question, and basically, if this question is a yes, you might have all you need. Does this guy throw a catchable ball? It's that simple. Now, catchable, it sometimes means great arm strength to get the ball there through a tight window. Other times, catchable means you put the perfect lollipop on that rainbow to just put it right in the breadbasket. And by the way, there looked like a play early on in this game where Purdy had delivered one right into Ayuk's breadbasket, but Ayuk dropped it. Turned out the corner got his hand in there. That wasn't just a straight drop from Ayuk. It wasn't like, oh, I hit him in the chest and bounced off. Corner made a nice play. But it really was a day of just big chunk plays everywhere for the 49ers. Got some early offense out of Arizona. You got Christian McCaffrey with the touchdown and the yardage factory this day today. Christian McCaffrey was just doing everything that you need Christian McCaffrey to do on a football field. 18 carries, 115 yards, a touchdown. He led the team with 5 catches for 72 yards and 2 touchdowns. A pair of touchdowns for Deebo Samuel as well. And Charvarius Ward returns the very first pick 6 of his entire career. And if we're being totally honest, I mean, this is where it sounds like, oh, what are you, some kind of homer? No. It's not what I do. It's not who I am. If we're being totally honest, the Niners weren't even very good today. I'm dead serious. They could play a lot better than they did today. I've seen them play a lot better than they did today. And they still had overwhelming results. But they can be better than that. What, Purdy coming in at under 70%? Oh my God, his streak is over. They could be even better than they were today. And they were pretty darn good with their, B+ game, their A- game. What do you want to call it today? I wouldn't call it an A+. Sean Shepard, greetings from Montana. Thank you very much, Sean. Ron says, Damon, you're coming to me all the way in Connecticut. Thank you very much, Ron. I spent some time in Connecticut myself working for that worldwide leader. Damon, my grandma is visiting and she just said, pound it, pound it, pound it. That's what I'm talking about. Hold on. We can do that one better. We can get her involved.
Pound it, pound it, pound it, pound it.
Tapping in from Zurich. Excuse me. Tim Donaghy's crew. Zurich? I'm glad they're making Tim Donaghy jokes in Zurich. Spartanburg, South Carolina for Air Fierce. I love it, man. I love it. I'm a Cyclone, not Nebraska. There you go. I'm sorry I made that mistake. I presumed way too much. Sporticus, journalism, Damon, is documenting what actually happening. Creating a story for story's sake is fiction writing. Media needs more of the former and less of the latter. Amen, brother. Got Thornton, Colorado. Drew in Denver checking in. The Daily City of Denver. Oh, glamorous. Glamorous. Frankie from Long Island. Tangy coming in from May. SM. I used to love the pocket schedules. Pocket schedules were great. I will be hitting that cough syrup tonight. There's no doubt about it. Rome 33, thank you. North Dakota in the house. I mean, now we can really party. North Dakota's in here, baby. Thank you very much. Otis Bird III. That's my man right there. I don't care where he is. As long as he's in the room is better. Thank you, Otis. Brisbane, Australia. Brisbane or Brisbane, man. 11 a.m. Monday already. Wow. There we go. We be global. Michelle B. and Truckee. Twins Falls, Idaho. Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness. Isn't that great? Oh, and what do you know? People's keeping score at home. If you're keeping score at home, you might want to notice that that's a 6-4-3 double play. Love it. 559. 559, D. Bruce country. Kai, I don't even know where 559 is, but thank you. Bakersfield. Love it. Jonathan Abram saying, look, it's real simple, man. This is a big boy channel. Drop all the F-bombs. No, you don't drop them all. You got to be careful with those. They're like nuclear warheads. You just don't want to be letting them loose. You got to use them when it's strategically the right tactic. Leslie in Avila Beach. By the way, I was just at Avila Beach not too long ago. Freaking gorgeous. Was that just north of Pismo? Good times. Southern California checking in. Love that. Oh, we're reaching the everybody bagging on Efron part of it. I'm not going to rip on Efron anymore. Efron, get the F out of here, though. That's Killamig, and he paid to say it, so you get that up, Killamig. Thank you very much. A little super chat for Efron. Maybe I can send Efron $1 there. He'll feel better and come on back. And thank you very much. I'm all here for the uncensored Damon. It's called the media revolution. We're not going back to FCC friendly. I believe in that. Dale, though, you're right. I am just a system YouTuber. That's it. Just using the system. Dale, a little $2 super chat. Thank you very much. System YouTuber. All right, man. Again, Michael, thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. I thank so many of you for being here tonight. It means an awful lot. Keep up the great work. How about this? A little super chat from Pittsburgh High School Pirates baseball. Thank you very much. Aussie rules. Hard work equals 14.3 thousand subscribers. I tell you what, if we get 11 more subscribers, make that 10 more subscribers, that'll go from 14.3 to 14.4. Again, continues to grow, continues to just tick up, tick up, tick up. And I thank you for doing that. Again, word of mouth is real, and you telling your circle about this does as much as me promoting about it, tweeting about it. I appreciate it very, very much. What do we got here from Roman Gonzalez saying, DB, years ago, my employer fired me, 20 others on Christmas Eve. Now my walk-in closet is probably bigger than my former boss's house. You'll be fine. And isn't that the best, Ramon? Isn't living well the best revenge there is? It's awesome. Damon, usually members get highlighted in the chat so you can see them and post their chats. That's if you can see them. Well, I'm about to start using another broadcasting system. I've been using Restream since I started. I'm going to go to StreamYard coming up soon. And that, I think, is going to give me better control over who's coming from where, not losing track of super chats. That's really one thing that Larry Krueger's got that I've been impressed by, that he uses. And so that's the system that he uses. That's the system we're going to be using. Again, the system, we're going to install a better system. It's going to make me even more of a system broadcaster. Diesel 357 says, Purdy's got all these weapons, and he does, but he has his weapons. Has his weapons ever looked good? Underplaying anything? Yeah, thank you very much. McCaffrey looks better than he's ever looked. Debo looks better than he's ever looked. Ayuk's better than he's ever looked. The whole team, dude, there's nothing to even debate. He's the best quarterback by far that Kyle Shanahan has had to coach since Matt Ryan's MVP season. Full stop. That's who Brock Purdy is. He is the Niners' best quarterback since Steve Young. Full stop. That's who he is. And I'll tell you, this is, I might need a full stop here soon. Damon, my dog needs a walk. This was the only post-game show I could hear live while walking. I mean, that's all you need to know right there, man. No one's got a phone everywhere. Or no one's got a radio everywhere. No one's got a radio, except for maybe in your car. It's the only place it exists anymore. Everyone brings their phone everywhere with them, including Norway. I'm not even going to try to say the first part of that. Stein-Tor-Hell. Tori-Hell? Stein-Tori-Hell? From Stjordal, Norway. Unbelievable. Again, I've never, ever had anybody call into a show that I was doing on the radio from Norway. Oh, and what do you know? Mrs. Plus herself checking in. Holy hell, we got 22 official Plus members already. 22 of you signed up for membership already. Thank you very, very much. Thank you for supporting what we're doing here. That means an awful lot. Scranton. Andy Sherman. Ain't no party like a Scranton party. That episode was just on the other day. Damon, live in Sacramento? Yeah, baby. Thank you, Bryce. Couple more here. Couple more. Castroville, California. Artichoke Town checking in. Killer Mig with the super chat. Thank you very, very much. Got Catherine saying, Damon, miss you on the radio, but this is good too. This is better, Catherine. Thank you. I appreciate that. We got the cigar smoker saying, Damon, I don't have anything to say. I'm just going to give you $1. Thank you very much. I'll take $1. We're working for tips. Don't make me shake the boobs. Damon, where do you sign up for memberships on the Plus? I believe there's a join button. I guess you got to use your laptop. It's not on the phone yet, but it's coming. If you don't see it today, it'll be there soon enough, I hope. We got NorCal Niner. Havison, the 40. What have you seen the 49ers house in Petaluma? No, I have not. I didn't even know there was one. I think this is the perfect place to wrap it up. Because Brian says, Damon, you and Krug should collaborate for a sports talk channel. You guys already have a wide audience behind California. I'm up here in Seattle. Well, thank you. It's something that Larry and I are discussing, obviously. But more than coordinating, a sports talk channel, we're going to coordinate just a show that beats everyone. I mean, we'll worry about a bigger thing in year 2 for me and year 3 for him. But right now, here's what we're doing. We're cordially inviting all of you to begin Monday morning or any Monday after the 49ers play with Niners Wake Up. 8 a.m. West Coast time is when Larry and I are going to be at it together. So no matter where you are, whenever it's convenient to you, you can watch tomorrow morning's Niner Wake Up, Monday morning's Niner Wake Up, live at 8 a.m. or whenever it's for you, because that's how YouTube works, baby. And we are going to just start owning mornings on Mondays and on Fridays. Then we'll see where it goes. We will see where it goes. I will have a little bit more time to build bigger, better ideas out when I don't have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old climbing up my face every night. But, we'll see where this goes. Like I said, we only at this point in time know enough to be dangerous. And that's the start we're off to. A dangerous start. And that's a good place to be. felt like the Niners might have gotten off to a dangerous start. They were down 7-0, but when the day was over, they had put 45 points, a season best, on the Arizona Cardinals for a 45-29 win. Everything that you wanted to have happen offensively basically happened. Nothing kept the Arizona Cardinals in this game more than their own running game, and we all know why that running game popped more than it probably should have, with injuries to Eric Armstead and Javon Hargrave. It's going to get a little easier to run against the Niners. And so hopefully both those players got the rest that they needed this week and will be back to take on Baltimore on Christmas. And I hope that you plan on coming on back here to the Damon Bruce channel, Damon Bruce Plus, baby. Again, Larry and I get going at 8 a.m., but I do my show at 11 as well. A show at 11 live West Coast time. And then it'll be Christmas Eve, 2-minute warning of 49ers and Ravens. I want to thank all of you. Thanks so many of you. If you became a member tonight, if you became someone who just hit a like button tonight, I really appreciate it. If you go ahead and you become someone who subscribes, I certainly, truly appreciate all that too. I appreciate all of you so very, very much. And join me again tomorrow at 8 a.m., at 11 a.m., and keep on out for more looks because we got more coming. We're just underway, and it feels like that's the way it is for the 49ers. A very special season is underway. Good times. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate all of you being here. I'm going to go grab, I think, a little bit of time with Kruger over on his post-game show. Apologize for not being able to make it up to Pig in a Pickle. And then we'll be at it, Larry and I, Monday morning, 8 a.m. West Coast time. We'll see you there. In the meantime, thank you for all your viewership, your liking, your supporting, your subscribing. Everybody hit a like on the way out. Do that for me. That'd be a Merry Christmas. Hit that like button on your way out. And please do remember that sports don't build character. They reveal it. God, Niners look good today. They didn't even play great, but they were really good.